for Riel and welcome to the Wednesday News Moto. We are nothing short of delighted to have you here. At the start of each News Moto, you'll see our donation total on the screen. It'll increase next week after our July payment comes through from YouTube. We have had some new subscribers lately, so just a reminder that if you like and comment on our videos, YouTube will suggest them to more people, and that means we get more views, and that means more money we can donate. This week's ride is actually two separate rides joined together, and they are from Siem Reap town. They were provided to us by Kelly from Autumn in Asia, and a link to his channel is in the description of this video. Thank you, Kelly, for providing today's rides. Today is Wednesday, the 20th of July, and in today's news, we take a look at some Khmer artefacts that ended up in Australia in the 60s, drug crime, and the continuing war on e-cigarettes. We'll also look at Phnom Penh's drunk drivers in detail, as there are more of those than you can poke a stick at this week. There will be photos. A little update first. Despite notification of new COVID cases in the kingdom, there have been no changes to entry requirements. Tourist visas and ordinary visas, that's the E-type, are available on arrival. You can also pre-purchase a tourist visa online through the government's website if you don't want to wait at the airport and you're sure of your return date. There hasn't been much more noise about the golden visa since the announcement a little while ago. Our first story today, though, comes from Australia, and it is the first link in the description of this video. It's a beautifully presented but sad story about artefacts looted from Cambodia and Thailand and how they ended up in Australia in the possession of a man called Douglas Snelling. He bought artefacts from Khmer villages back in the 60s and bragged in a letter to a friend about how little he paid for them before smuggling them across the border into Thailand and eventually getting them back into Australia. The journalist who wrote that story also has a two-part podcast you can listen to. The link for that is also in the description, and I really suggest that you check those out. They're just fantastic. All right, back to the usual pace of things. Let's get into some drug crime. More than 10 tons of drugs which were seized in Siem Reap, Kampong Thom and Preah Vihear were destroyed in Siem Reap. Reports say that the operation seized 2,782 kilos of ketamine, 947 kilos of methamphetamine, 556 kilos of ecstasy, 275 kilos of heroin, 106 kilos of cartonine. I don't even know what that is. Those are just staggering numbers. Anyway, the next story, all that glitters isn't always gold. A celebrity gold seller is in hot water after accusations that she was selling counterfeit gold mixed with copper to customers. She found herself in further trouble after her own lawyer issued a notice that she is intending to sue her. Her personal lawyer has now issued a notice that the Golden Lady owes her a salary of $30,000 for 2 months of work. That is a very expensive lawyer. The lawyer said she would give 8 days more for repayment of the money, and if that date was not honoured, she will take legal action. Industry insiders say that the gold seller has had many businesses in the past, such as selling furniture, selling bags, before she turned to selling gold. Several of those businesses also encountered issues. A group of Kampong Cham poker players discovered that they had bet on the wrong game after they were arrested by police. Kampong Cham police received information that there was a case of illegal gambling going on at Tumorkul village in the Kampong Siem district of Kampong Cham province. Police raided the hive of gambling and arrested 7 suspects. They also seized 50 cards, which is strange as there are 52 cards in a full deck. Maybe they mean 50 decks of cards. 4 mobile phones and 4,480,000 reals and 4 motorcycles. They might be playing poker, but it seems that e-cigarettes are the flavour of the month for authorities in the kingdom. After a raid was conducted at 3 e-cigarette shops, officials from the anti-drug department confiscated 5,400 e-cigarettes and more than 12,000 cartridges. The police arrested a Cambodian man and 2 Cambodian women. All 3 are currently being educated, but they have been allowed to return to their homes. It's really strange that they're cracking down so much on this and not on the rampaging drunk drivers. Another week, and inevitably another round of irresponsible drunk drivers was in evidence in the capital. First, an incident along Monavong Boulevard in Phnom Penh. Stunned onlookers say that they saw a black car parked in Monavong Boulevard, its owner having a late-night feast. Suddenly, a male foreign national who appeared to be drunk was seen driving a silver luxury car at high speed. The man lost control of his vehicle and smashed into the parked car and a light pole, causing severe damage. Now on to our second DIC, and DIC stands for Drunks in Cars. A driver had an unlucky time in Phnom Penh when he crashed into a truck whilst fleeing from another accident that he was involved in. Witnesses say that a Daewoo Novus truck was parked on the edge of the road. Suddenly, a black Nissan car that was driven at high speeds lost control and smashed into a car. Attempting to flee the accident, the Nissan then drove into the parked truck, where it remained wedged into the truck. Third DIC, a foreign drunk driver appeared to find driving whilst drunk amusing this morning as he grinned after a crash in Phnom Penh. The incident happened in front of Phnom Penh International Airport along Russian Federation Boulevard. According to sources, they saw a white Lexus RX 450 driven by a Chinese man in a drunken state, travelling erratically and at high speed. The inebriated driver, miraculously uninjured, seemed to find his irresponsible actions a laughing matter as he sauntered around his wrecked vehicle. DIC 4 and 5. Two men made an unwise decision to drive home in the early hours of the morning whilst in an inebriated state after partying at a fashionable nightclub. They paid the price when they crashed their luxury car. Sources say that the black Lexus GS 300, driven by two drunk men who had just left a club, was seen driving at high speed. The men soon lost control of the vehicle and proceeded to smash into a construction site, causing significant damage to property and vehicles, but luckily not causing any injuries. DIC 6. The driver of a luxury Jaguar car took a high-speed excursion in Phnom Penh's Independence Monument Park. The incident happened at 9:40 p.m. at the Independence Monument Park along the corner of Norodom Boulevard and Sihanouk Boulevard in Phnom Penh. The Jaguar was seen driving erratically and at high speed along Norodom Boulevard. There's a bit of a theme to all of this, isn't there? The driver lost control of his vehicle and careered into the park. Sadly, his luxury vehicle was not designed with off-road capabilities and it suffered severe damage. DIC number 7. A drunk driver came a cropper along Sihanoukville Road in Phnom Penh. Sources say that the drunk driver was seen driving a watermelon-coloured RAV4 at high speed. Now, when I read that, I thought that the car must have been pink, but they actually are describing the outside of the watermelon, so it was a greenish colour. Interesting. Digression. Losing control of his vehicle, he smashed into a lamppost, causing severe damage to his car. Amazingly, the driver was uninjured in the crash. Police arrived and then booked the driver for damaging public property. Finally, we have DIC number 8. A drunken driver decided to reacquaint himself with those good old high school days when he crashed in Phnom Penh. The incident took place in front of Chia Sim Samaki High School. Sources at the scene say they saw the Toyota Vios driving erratically and at high speed. The sozzle fool then lost control of the vehicle and smashed into a road barrier, fortunately causing no injuries. As always, the road divider was the innocent victim in the matter. You have to wonder how the poor road dividers can stand it, but luckily there is one man in Phnom Penh attempting to right the balance. I came across this beautiful photo of a man seemingly meditating whilst perched on a road divider. That's definitely better treatment of the innocent road divider, but I dare say there is more to this story than meets the eye. A silent protest, perhaps. Thank you, Jeremy, for allowing me to use this photo. And to end up today's news, we've got a couple of good news stories. The first is the Ministry of Labour and Vocational Training kicked off a campaign against child labour in the brick kiln business and in the agriculture industry in Siem Reap Province's Banteay Stray district. The campaign is aimed at instructing inspectors and authorities on how to intervene by removing the children from dangerous and exploitative situations to prevent child labour, as well as how to encourage their integration into a normal living situation afterwards. The campaign is meant to empower authorities in charge of inspections to prevent the crime of child labour use, as well as to strengthen the surveillance system for monitoring child labour at brick kilns, schools, and among the community and families. It's a good thing that they're starting with the brick kiln industry because it's hard, heavy, horrible work that those children are doing. Always remember never to buy anything off children in Cambodia, never give money to children that are begging either. A much better idea is to donate to a local charity and stop the cycle. Some more good news to end this week's News Moto. Siem Reap has come in at number 15 in a list of the 25 best cities in the world to travel to. Seoul, Bangkok, Rome and Hoi An came in after Siem Reap, and our favourite temple town was pipped at the post by Kyoto, probably Japan's most famous temple town. But 15 is an excellent ranking, I think. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the links to the stories mentioned will be in the description of the video, and a special thank you to Kelly from Autumn in Asia for providing today's ride. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon.